again, I iterate that it's basically more of a financial configuration, but we'll have a walk through it. Studying about the CA because it's a very interesting topic. What are the different, what we'll say as setup around COA done? What are the different task name which are there, and how this COA interacts with the business unit creation. So main job starts from how we create a business unit, how we start the creating the inventory of as a supply chain point of view. Okay, with that note, let me pull up that slide. Okay. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll share one document also. So let me have, yeah. Yes, I'll ping this in chat. Also, I'll show you it in this. Just please save this document. Actually, this is the best document available everywhere, which describes what does chart account in complete fashion. If you can see, I have also opened this. When I was studying and was referring this earlier, I used to refer this document. It has all the steps. I'll also show you this in Fusion, but for your reference, just keep it saved somewhere so that anytime you get issue or any configuration task which you're missing, you can have it. So this is completely overall how to set up chart of accounts in Oracle Cloud actually. So it's a document created by one of the practitioner only, but will be helpful for your reference actually. Okay, so it has all the screenshot where to navigate starting from a single point. Okay, so just keep a note of it. I'll also walk through this document, what are the different steps, but remember this is more of like how a financial setup is done, because what's the relation between a structure, account structuring is being created. They have a discussion how the general ledger need to be created in that way, right? Our main functional job or the same functional job start at manage business unit creation. Okay, reason I'm sharing this PPT or the this PDF and the document with you is that it will be for good for your reference actually moving forward. Anytime if you want to see the steps, want to navigate to the screenshot where to go, you can take a help of this. Okay, so with that note, let's start the discussion on what is COA. Okay, let me just fill this. So just remember what happens is in the chart of accounts, basically it's just for the record transaction. Actually what happens is that a company may have a multiple general ledger, right? It's basically used for reporting purpose. Suppose I am an organization, I want to know what was this particular department's overall activity being done, how's the accounting done in that department. So what I do is I create a chart of account sheet. Earlier it was used to be managed in the form of Excel, where I used to write the account name of this particular department. Okay, this is dealing in this, that US department is dealing in that way. So it was a very tedious job for the financial people, that how to deal with and interact with the money thing in the form of sheet is very, very tough. So what enhancement come in Oracle EBS is that they develop a chart of account where you can configure this thing in the system and accordingly interact with the thing. It's basically used for reporting purpose, how generalization is done. So if you see, there are around 5 setups which need to be done around COA. So if you can just keep a note of this, you can meanwhile in future refer to this PPT also. But if you can write in your copy or anywhere, these are the main 5 setups that which we call it in Oracle Fusion, that manage chart of account value set, chart of account structure, chart of account structure instances, and chart of accounts value set values. So these are the basic 5 main setup which need to be done when you set up COA. Okay, I'll take a hold here. Just keep a note of this 5 structure, because you need to remember name of the task, right? Where you need to configure COA. Okay, just keep a note of it. Okay, and to be giving on a background of about what a chart of accounts is, just remember it in the form of Excel, right? You have an account number, you have account details, you have which business unit it is associated to, what will be the corresponding inventory org associated, what will the ledger use with this. So we have complete chart of account as a sheet, which used to be using earlier times, that okay, this is a lane and I need to search, okay, for particular US organization, I search it by US, okay, this is the chart of account details. But that was a very tedious job. You have to go to the Excel, search for a particular field. So what Oracle come with a set is that you define this in the form of a structure. We'll take care of how to explore the data, right? Also, if you see here also, the chart of account the configuration is done in setup and maintenance only. So these are the main 5 tasks which we see here. Let me take you to the document as well. I'll guide you through this, and we'll also do in the system. As I told you, this is more of a financial part, right? It comes under finance setup. So if you see the setup is here is finance. If you then directly search by chart of account, you'll get manage chart of account, everything. Let's go and explore the same in this. We'll go step by step to this. Okay. I'm logged in the user. Let's go to setup and maintenance. Now, as I told earlier, we have three areas here. First, we need to check for setup. Next, we select functional area and we search for a particular task, right? So as we know, where is chart of account related? It is recorded in the financial area. Correct. Now here, all the tasks which are there related to financial will be there. Remember one more thing which I wanted to explain. Organization structure, if I can search it for you, you'll see this in financial. Let's go to procurement also. I'm exploring this thing right now for you. You'll see this in organization structure in procurement also. So remember, if the tasks are common, they will appear in both the section. Reason being because procurement also has to deal with the business unit, and even financial also have to do with the business unit. But remember this point, very important. This will occur in your lifetime project also. Is the configuration of business unit done by procurement people or is it done by financial people? We generally believe that the business unit configuration has to be always done by SCM people. Reason? Because organization structure, finance person will not understand where is the particular business unit located, right? It happens in a similar project that it depends, right? How the coordination between the team is that no, finance person will do the business unit configuration. We'll start from inventory org. But remember, generally SCM people should take the procurement configuration and start with manage business unit, because you are the person who knows, okay, what purchase order, what was the unit is. A financial person will never go, he will go by sheet. Okay, this was a sheet provided by client, I need to configure the 7 BUs. No, it's better to see their purchase order, need to see their order orchestration. Okay, this were the orders being created. Organization structure starting from business unit always believe should fall into SCM category. Reason being because it becomes much easier for a SCM person to understand, okay, this will be done in the future. This for the purchase order being created by the client. This for the order when you will be pushing the data to the Oracle Fusion, right? And the point which I wanted to mention is this organization structure has to fall in finance other modules also, right? If I go to finance, let me just click on organization structure. Here you can see, here also I can see them, right? Here also it's visible the way to go. And if you navigate, you'll go to same page. It will be showing same page, manage business unit in that case, right? See here. So the main motto is, but remember one point, whenever you get a lifetime project and understand what the business unit, and you are the one who need to know, okay, who need to do is, remember business unit setup needs to be done by SCM people only. Reason, it becomes much easier for a SCM person to configure the things and understand the purchase order and other relation moving forward. Okay, one more point to notice is, I have first time gone to financial area for you. So if you see general ledger is there in finance, but it will not come into procurement. I'll just again once again show you. Let me go to procurement area. Right, general ledger is not there because ledger has been excluded completely from SCM. That's why I was telling yesterday. Legal entity configuration, ledger configuration falls under finance in person. It will be never interacted with the people, right? Because this is completely their setup, how they define the ledger, how they define a legal entity. Yes, business unit can be set up by SCM person also, or it can be done by financial person also. But we generally believe that by going the slide, I'll show you. Here is the main setup which starts for us actually, where we create the business unit. If you get a situation that a financial person is creating, explain him, no, business unit should be done by us because we are the one who knows the data from SCM perspective. What are the purchase order? What are the sales order being created? So I understand what are the unit being there. Okay. So with that note, let's first go to financial area. We have organization structure, correct? I've selected that business unit. Search for all tasks. Meanwhile, you can also search by manage chart of account. Yeah, so here you see manage chart of account, all the related tasks has come. Synchronization is a different concept. Actually, this is not much being followed, but remember, these are the main tasks which are there. Manage chart of account, manage chart of account value set. There will be one more which will be there, which you'll see, which I have navigated here. That is chart of account structure instances. So let me just search this also. Just this is not currently enabled for this particular user. I will enable it, no worries. Let's go and search in global search. Yeah, if you can see, it is hidden, right? So this task has been enabled for this particular user. We enable it, no worries. Okay, but I'll take a pause here. Main reason I wanted to show you the navigation is to understand how finance also has chart of account, sorry, business unit, and even SCM has business unit. But remember, legal structure, legal entity, payables, general ledger will always follow into financial person configuration. Okay, main configuration start for SCM person is from the business unit. I'll take a pause here. If you guys have any queries, any doubt, please feel free. I'll be happy to answer that questions. Please feel free. Any doubt till this point, actually. Just remember the task name. Remember what is the area which you need to navigate, which will come under this area, right? By name also you should be clear. Okay, general ledger, it should be always going to financial people. We can get a question that, okay, business unit, will it come under SCM or will it come under financial? Remember, it will, by Oracle, it comes under both the section. It comes under financial as well. It comes under SCM as well. But by profession, we'll say that SCM is the person who will be correct to load and configure the managed business unit. Okay, go ahead. If anyone has any queries, any doubt. Akshay, Bhaskar, Hari, any doubt, guys? Please feel free.
No worry.
Okay. Sajil, any doubt? Shantanu, any doubt? Garge, any doubt, guys?
No, Varun.
So, yeah,
Clear,
yeah.
Ganesh.
Okay, guys. So remember the navigation where we do for where we go for navigation is setup and maintenance. Go to financial, search for in the organization structure, search for the particular task, that is manage chart of account. Okay, here is the way where you can set the values. Okay, now let's pick one of this tasks and I'll explain you that. Okay, guys, if you would have remember my earlier session, we studied about value set, correct? Now here, if you can see that we have a task which is manage value, manage charge of account value set. The guys who have attended my earlier session in last week, you see the screen is similar to the one which we was showing yesterday, like sorry, last week, where I create a value set code, create a value data type, I create a value set code, right? I'll show you the navigation once again, or I'll show you the creation of value set. But just remember the lecture which we configured last time, right? Where we created a value set. So if you remember, we created a global value set, which can be used by anything, right? We created in the procurement work area. Now, if you see, this value set is dedicated only for chart of account. Now, let's understand 2 points. First is, what is the importance of this value set in chart of account? So suppose like Hari is maintaining in one organization, I'm maintaining another organization. Suppose I'm a owner of Cadbury and Hari is the owner of XYZ company, right? In my company, in chart of account, I need one more field which should define, okay, was the payment done in a check, was it done in cash, or was it done online, right? Similarly, Hari has an is running XYZ company and he wanted to know per department what was the value set for this particular charge of account, right? So we have a requirement. My requirement is not a specific one which will be asked by all the organization, right? I have a specific one. I wanted to know that the payment is done in check, cash, or it is done in UPI payment. Because I'm a small organization, I need to understand, oh no, I want this field, right? Bigger organization definitely follow only check and this culture, right? Payment online culture. but I am a person who is running a small organization and want to know check also. So will Oracle maintain a single sheet for this? No. So what Oracle came up with this concept is you create your own value set here also. That value set will allow you to set the value in the field of attribute also, where you can save the data, right? As we remember, value set fields are always saved in the attribute column, right? We had remember, if you remember, we set for PO headers all, where we use attribute one to set the color, right? Where we created a drop down light blue, green, and we were setting that, right? Sajal, Akshay, I can just give you a fallback also. And this is the like creating a value set. What we mean by value set is where we assign a value to a particular set. We create a descriptive fact suite. You must be remembering about DFFs, right? Which we talk about
Yes.
in EVs, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we know we have PO header all table, which we used to be calling. Similarly, we have AP invoice all table. They have attribute columns. They have who columns, correct? We see them.
Yeah.
So using that attribute column, I'm creating my own DFFs out there, right? Similar is happening in chart of accounts. I'm creating a DFF. Reason for creating a DFF is about the different organization complexity which comes, right? Business might have different types of requirement. No, I in chart of account, I need a field to identify which particular location it was related to. I want to identify which subdivision it was located to. So Oracle has maintained its own standard chart of account configuration. By maintaining chart of accounts value set, it is allowing you to configure as a DFF also. This DFF can be a part of Excel. So if I can just show you what will happen is, so this was the initial sheet provided by Oracle. Just consider it with and compare it with the our example of sheet. Account number, account holder, legal entity. So these are the different columns here. We have, apart from legal entity, we have ledger. Apart from ledger, I'll take this much. Okay, this is the column which I'll take. Now, these are the sheets, right? And have the data correspondingly XYZ information is there available. Now, as a business, I have a requirement. No, I want to know the payment method also. Now, this is my requirement. I don't see this will be required by other organization. Depends upon them. But as a organization, I want to know. No, is this a payment what is the payment method available for this? So what I do is I create a value set known as payment method where I put three fields, right? Similar to the one which we did last time, where I want three types of data to be available. Either it should be check, it should be cash, or UPI payment. Depends upon the organization setup which is there, right? And this should be appear as a value set where user can select. Even this should be the one which I should allow to be configured, right? If I click on I'm passing the sheet, if I select check, it should allow that. If I'm selecting cash, that should allow. So depends upon the different organization, the chart of account allows you to have this configured. Payment method is also one of the field which you will see in SCM configuration, right? That will also be coming where you configure the payment method, but remember it in the way of financial person. Depends upon the structure, right? But generally what happens is, and a tip I'll give you, never allow many value sets on chart of account, because it will increase the complexity and decrease the performance for sure, right? Even financial people also do not prefer to having so many value set, because one or two is fine, because they're dealing with financial information, right? Account number, account holder are the main key criteria for them. Payment method are the something which can be defined later on, but they also prefer not to change their chart of account sheet a lot, because configuring the one which is there is very crucial for them. Even a single difference in the account number can create a very much big havoc. Okay, so even as a personal, my experience also, we generally do not believe in making much of the changes. I'll give you one example what happens with one of the semiconductor industry which we were working with. So what that industry was having is they were much into if you would have remember in microprocessor, right? 8085, 8086, right? And we might have like from engineering background, you might have seen them also
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm from CS, but I know actually this is something which comes in 11 12th also, right? 8085 processor, 8086 processor. So what it's really important to understand what this organization do. So they were into semiconductor industry, and we would have seen that 8085 chips, right? What happens with these guys is, if that chip there is slight mistake now, they have to throw that chip, right? They are not a reusable company, because that is a very small chip, and a small wire loss is a big difference for them, right? They can't use that chip because that will not be working, right? If you remember about the manufacturing industry, they can use their support. Giving an example of Cadbury also, if something a product does not work, they reuse it, right? They go for processing, and they can use it. But what happens majorly with the semiconductor industry is, their processor is something which is key for them. Any loss is quite a difference for them, right? If it's not working, it's not perfect, fine. Even what challenges they face is in even the sales order they push, right? uh, Depends upon the quality and also the quantity which they have supplied. If the quality is good, then they get a good response, right? If the quality is not that appropriate, the working not fine, you'll return that order. Similar which happens with our electronic items also, right? If I purchase a mouse uh, online, right? If I see though it's not working, then what happens is I have to ship it back. So what these companies have also come at, earlier this there was this concept also, still that is prevalent. They give a warranty, right? Okay, this will be having 6 months warranty, this will be having 7 months warranty, right? They have to issue the warranty card, because electronic items are much into like dependent, right? I'll be not be the person who will be okay opening the mouse, can I figure it out? That is not my job, right? So to sustain in the market, what these guys have to do is very much specific about the product they create, right? Similar happens with the electronic brands also, other TV, fridge, they have to very much specific. But consider it in the form of manufacturing and this type of industry. Giving an example of Geo, if their one sim gets bad, they are fine with it. They'll publish you second, they will not charge you for that, because their job is not to sell you the sim, but to sell their ideas and their plan with you, because you will be having that sim, right? Once a sim buy, generally what a common person mythology is, no, I'll not be taking 7 sims, right? I do not want to remember 7 numbers. My one number which is circulated around my friends and the family is fine with me, right? That is the strategy which comes up, right? That is their point. They will call you, contact you multiple times, because their job is not to sell you the sim, but to sell their plan moving forward. Once the sim is taken, they know, okay, this guy will not change. That's a human methodology, because I will not remember my 7 number. Okay, I'll buy one sim, just one sim. That is not the way, right? Just give an example of this out of it. So different organization have different type of culture, different type of methodology following. I was working with one of the this security agency client also, so they were like really tough to handle. They are someone which is really tough to handle, because what happens is sometimes in conversion, entire data does not get converted. I'll tell you, by even we charge it at, we convert 99% of your data, but that is not correct. Even client will not remember his old purchase order, old sales order which are created. They only want to bring the data, right? They will not be considered, okay, that sales order might get closed soon enough, right? So they will be fine. But what the security agency does is, I was working for one of the US security agency. So they were very much specific about the data. Even they were very much specific about the instance which they provide, right? They need to be secure, our data should not be exposed. If you're working, we'll not give you this right, we'll not give you this role. It becomes really tough. But when you work with manufacturing clients, they are not concerned about that. They're only concerned about how my process is going fine in the system, and I want to just train my peoples. That is fine with them. But the security people becomes really tough to handle. So I'll give you a tip also on how the strategy goes for this. Mainly, the administrative team has to be really strong in this. You have to ask for the particular roles, administrative role required for this. And what was happening is, they were going from 12.2 to Fusion, and that is for a security team is quite a big hurdle, because sorry, for the security agencies is a quite a big hurdle, because what happens is, their single data or single field or single row is quite delegate for them. They were quite specific about the data. It becomes really tough that somehow the other we have to do that. What happens is, suppose giving an example, suppose earlier what was happening in EBS, the business unit was defined in this name. I'll give you an example, XYZ123. Now in cloud, what has, when I defined it, I defined it in this way. Both are same, but remember, both are case sensitive. the one which you will supply and will do by conversion has to follow the same convention. If I in the file which I'm loading, it is in this format, my record will fail because it is case sensitive. It has to follow the same culture which is there in the cloud, right? So what you configure in the cloud depends upon will have an impact on what's the conversion being done, right? So main motto what I wanted to convey is that chart of accounts is something which is more of financial person. We do not do much into detail of it, but remember, when you will be creating a sales order or purchase order, you will be seeing this chart of account sheet there, right? You will creating a POIT details, you will be selecting the project data, right? And with the multiple things, value set is something which I wanted to also configure here, is that CO does not want much of the value set. It's quite good to keep the CO set which was earlier in that format only. I'll take a halt here, guys. If anyone has any queries, any doubt, please go ahead. Any query, Bhaskar, Shantanu?
No, Varun, I'm good.
Okay, perfect, guys.
Yeah, I'm good. Bharat, yeah.
Okay. So this was about chart of account, what is value set, how we define the structure out of it. So basically, it's like a field and we can configure the chart of account also, configurable part. Now comes about the business unit. Just please have a look into this, the link which I've shared with you, right? Just have a look to this also. What are the different components, how the value set has been defined, what are the different account structure which is there, where you can define the account. Just have a look into it. This will, like, if you want to go more into financial setup, you can definitely go into that, but our main task was to give an overview of what is chart of account, because we are SCM people, right? We do not consider much about what is chart of account setup. But as a person, as in cloud implementation, we should know, okay, this is the area where we have the chart of account setup, right? I have shown you this, but have a look into this. Okay, and moving future, if you have doubt, just let me know. With that note, let's come up to the main configuration which we'll start, that is the managed business unit. Okay, so for that, as we know, we'll go to procurement, that is our SCM work area. Click on organization structure, click on manage business unit. Now here, if you see, these are the so many business unit which have been defined here, correct? Right, which are already there. Let's create one of us also. For that, click on this plus sign. So you are creating your own business unit, right? Give it a name. Suppose we'll give it as, I hope this is not taken by someone, India business unit. I'm creating a one. Let's create a one. It's not there. Australia would be there. Let's give it a blank search. No one has created for India here. What is this? Let's let's do it in this way. Let's select any of this. Okay. So 4 fields here, right? One is name, one is manager, one is location, and one is default set, right? What do you mean by default set? So by this, what we have done is we can create a set of business unit. It depends upon the configuration also. What do you mean by configuration is if we have n number of business units, generally professionally I'll say companies does not have n number of business unit, but Oracle has a concept so that it can meet the future requirement. That default set is nothing but your business unit set. You can create a set. Just remember, it's not a term which is used globally, just a unit or a unit set for you, a set of values. That's it. Reason for having business set is because what happens in some of the organization, they create a club, 2 or 3 business unit, right? In that sense, what the Oracle prefers is you create a business unit set and create a business unit in that, right? Location here, if you see, is a independent field, and manager is also independent field. Reason being, generally what happens is a business unit will not have single manager. That's definitely a case. But with a small organization, they might have a single manager. Okay, he's the person who is the main contact or the CEO of that, right? Here in Oracle, remember, we do not have we do not have any word like CEO. There's only manager employee relationship. What do I mean by employee and manager relationship is, let me give you an example. So suppose, let's take 4 of us name, right? Hari is there, Shantanu is there, I'm there, and we have Bhaskar, right? I'm good with the spelling, right? Yes. Okay, ER will come. Okay, so we 4 are running an organization. Bhaskar is the CEO, sorry, Hari is the CEO, Shantanu is the VP, I am a manager, and Bhaskar is the track lead, or I'll say technical lead. We'll say functional lead. No. As per the organization structure, let me write it not as manager. Let it be EVP. Okay, this way. So Bhaskar is reporting me. I am reporting Shantanu. Shantanu is reporting Hari, right? By convention, what Oracle has done is it has followed manager concept, right? What do you mean by manager is he will be the person who will be the contact for us, right? So Bhaskar's manager will be Varun, Varun's manager will be Shantanu, Shantanu's manager will be Hari, right? So there's a hierarchy which being followed. Oracle never supports CEO, EVP. What it does, it define a manager. This will be a manager. This is a particular field. In the field, you can write the job name. This we call it as job. But the assigned designation has always been manager. Reason being, Oracle cannot follow multiple convention here, right? Job is what we known as, okay, he's CEO, he's by EVP, he's SCM lead, he's functional lead, but designation is particularly he's his manager. So when you will configure Bhaskar, right, in the system, it will be having his job as functional lead and manager name will be my name. Similarly, when we'll create my user in the system, right, it will be SCM lead, manager will be Shantanu. Similarly, for Shantanu, the manager will be Hari. But my job is, like Shantanu's job is, he's EVP, correct? So here, sorry, it will be Hari. Here, we cannot make any manager, so this field remain null because he's a prime person, correct? So just what I wanted to make you understand is, anywhere which you see in Fusion, don't get confused that this is a manager, he's a final person, right? Oracle only defined as manager only. But how you configure depends upon the name of the person. So that name you have to, once you get a name here, right? If I select, I don't know, need to check, we have some field here. Okay, suppose this one, right? Sharma Akash. So Akash Sharma is particular organization CEO, right? But here, if you see, the field name is manager, right? Now, depends. A consultant can also be made a particular CEO, right? If suppose we get old, me, Hari has left the organization, Shantanu has left the organization, I have left the organization, right? Now, Bhaskar has been in the organization from 8 to 9 years. He gets promoted, he can be also CEO, right? His job level will get increased, correct? Sometimes what happens in an organization also that there's a situation where we four on a leave, right? We are not supporting this current organization. We are not in that part right now. So Bhaskar is the person who will be taking the lead. So his designation remains the same, right? But if I want, I can make him here the manager as well, right? If you see here by designation, I'll give you a scroll down. These are different types of roles: consultant, administrator, payable manager, receivable manager, collector, consultant, data steward manager, different types of role, right? But as per my, if I'm the CEO, I think no, I this particular business unit, if there is no people, I make this person as the particular manager for that. That I can do because as a CEO, I have a right? So similarly, suppose I made Akash as a particular manager, right? So by word, remember, managers is only managing that. That is nothing to do with his roles, right? Manager is not that he's a manager of that particular thing. He's only, by Oracle, what Oracle says is manager